Hello, puppies and kittens. Welcome to another episode of SkepTalk. It is Monday. It is July 15th. Kind of right in the middle of the summer. I don't know how everyone else's summer is doing. Already had a couple of heat domes and a tornado over here. John, how are you doing?
Yeah, we doing all right. We keep losing internet on occasion throughout the day. Usually not at night, but and then we had a power outage due to a snake. Apparently bit the wrong cord at the substation, and so we lost power for like an hour or so one night. So that's how my summer has been going.
Okay. Oh, well, my condolences to the snake. All right, so what has been what's lately on the radar for you?
So I guess a lot of things. I just finished up editing up an audiobook that will hopefully get put out soon. And so I'm starting back with regular content on my channel. I'm trying to get back into the groove of it. I've been out of the groove of making new content for a few months, and it's a little hard to get back into the groove of it. So just basically just basically looking at making more atheist and secular content over there on my channel, other than just putting up clips from YouTube from the line.
My dilemma is, my problem is just, any chores or errands or whatever just get in the way. I don't know how so many other content creators have time for video games, couples tennis, that sort of thing. Not me. My one guilty pleasure is like, hitting clickbait on YouTube when I have to go look for a visual reference for something, or catching up on the news or whatever, because I tend to get a little bit distracted. But that's it. I don't have time for like movies and TV shows and stuff like that. It's maybe once every 3 months that I'll watch a movie, something like that. That I will take time to do that. Otherwise, just too damn busy.
Yeah. So, I mean, that I guess one good thing about me is I'm used to, I'm a software engineer, so I'm used to like coding all the time. But the best thing about that is I can code and watch like a TV show or something like that. I don't know if that's like an ADHD superpower, but it definitely helps me in keeping up with like media and stuff.
I do find that I have to multitask a lot. Like when I'm reading something, I have to research something to find some reference or whatever, just fact checking something. Well, while I'm reading, I'm also listening on another channel, or I've got another window open. So I'll find something that occupies about the amount of time that I need, 30-minute discussion on the news or whatever. So I'm listening to the talking heads discuss the stuff that I need to know for this. And I'm simultaneously taking the other information by reading it while trying to write. I'm not always that way, and I'm not always efficient at it. Sometimes I will do when I click on the YouTube for whatever reason. I know the thing that I went there to go find. I know what I need to look at, but you see all these other images, and you're like, stop. So, oh, she's cute, and then there you go. So that's probably the easiest way for me to waste my time. Fucking clickbait, which I'm tired of, because all the headlines that you see, they're all so sensationalist, and that when you click on the thing, if it doesn't, I want old-fashioned headlines that tell you the whole story right there in the headline. If I now know the whole story, or I want to read more about it, that's great. But don't tell me, and then this happened, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that? No, if you're doing that, you're intentionally wasting my time.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about getting the clicks and getting the eyes on it so that they can get the ad revenue from shoving ads in your face.
Indeed. Are you ready to jump into calls?
Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay, we try to prioritize theists on here, and I don't see any, even though I keep jabbing at these people in social media where they're always telling me how they destroyed me. And it was 30 minutes ago, there was a guy telling me, do you remember how I destroyed you on abiogenesis? I'm like, I don't remember you at all, but here I am still undestroyed. So that's what kind of an impression you failed to make. If I want everybody else to see how, hopeless, impotent, and stupid and dishonest you are, call in. Let's have everybody hear it. So let's see if anybody does. I've got a couple of atheists and then somebody who identifies as a naturalist. And so I'm going to go with that one first. We have Ted in Pennsylvania. Ted, can you hear us? Ted. Calling to Ted. Near? Okay. I'm going to put that one back in the queue. If that will respond. All right. So the next I'm going to jump over to Mario. See if will it even pick up the call? I clicked on it. Mario, come on. There we go. Mario, you're on the line. Mario?
I wonder if we have a problem on the back end with the calls.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Morgan, is there a way to check that?
I'm looking into it.
2 calls, no audio. Not going to be much of a call-in show if we have all the calls muted. Morgan?
I'm looking into it.
Yeah, Morgan's looking into it.
Okay. Well, what I'm just going to hold this one in the queue. Mario, I don't know if you can hear us, but we can't hear you. And so I've got the producer looking into that. Maybe if you just maintain a conversation, I don't know, read the phone book or something. I'll be trying to figure this out. But hopefully, they'll get the sound fixed and we'll be able to hear your voice. Okay, so what else can we talk about in the interim? Is it like anything ever happened?
Well, so what kind of content do you have coming up on your channel there, Aron?
Well, I'm doing a lot of some political stuff on Project 2025 because I've only got a couple of months before the election, and I'm not keeping quiet. Mm-hmm. I'm just not. This is I see this as being my last ditch to do my tiny little part to save the Republic, and so I'm going to try. And I see an awful lot of really, really fucking stupid arguments. And people who tell me, well, you're pretty good on the science, but you're just wrong about politics. Okay, what am I wrong about? And then I hear all of these accusations that I'm a communist, for example. I mean, no, I'm not a communist. Well, you think blankety blank. No, I've never said that ever in my life. Why would you think such a thing? Why do these people it's like they only have, everything has to be in this box, the approved box and the everything else box. And if you didn't say everything, if there was a thing you said a month ago that I disagree with, that means that you are in all of these other categories of the other. And I'm just going to assume that you're all these terrible things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't get that, how all these assumptions can be made. But that's what invariably happens when they tell me I'm wrong. They tell me beliefs that I've never held, that I've never expressed. And I keep thinking that they're going to tell me that I said something that I actually said that they're going to be able to show as false. But not in this context. I mean, I'm not saying this. Nobody's ever corrected me. It happens often. But in the situation of your political opinions, not once has anybody been able to do that. You're wrong on politics. How? At best, they can come up with strained interpretations of the Second Amendment that I can show is not written that way, could not be interpreted that way.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I totally agree, and I think it's great talking about Project 2025. I know Casey and I are kind of coming up with an idea right now of how we can actually go through and like read and explain the entirety of Project 2025, and so I'll be announcing about that on my channel relatively soon. But yeah, we're trying to do the same thing, just letting people know and explaining like not only what Project 2025 says, but also why it's wrong, like in it. And so
Yeah, I just want to throw
It's
out, if you brought it, since we're bringing up this topic, I want to bring out that the comparison is, it's not that it's not that if you don't like Trump, it means you love Biden. I don't know anybody who loves Biden. You know, I mean, there's a lot of people who like him, okay, but it's just not that same kind of dichotomy with people who actually worship Trump and then accuse me of worshiping Biden. No. The nice thing about Biden is that at least he listens to experts. He has a panel of people that guide him. He's got, I think it was 16 Nobel laureates in economics that are advising him, which is probably why when there was a global pandemic and followed by Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and inflation rose all over the world. You know, you say that to anybody in this country, and they'll say, "Yeah, thanks, Biden." Like, really? You think Biden started the pandemic during Trump's reign? You think Biden caused Putin to invade Ukraine and jack up the prices for everybody around the world? More, I would think. It's a good thing that we managed to get inflation back down to like 13%. Yes, prices are still going up because that's the way inflation works. And Biden was already talking a couple of days ago about corporate greed being a central cause of that and how to address that. I know that there are things that are on the table to take care of a lot of this corruption and greed and stuff, but we have made some inroads. I mean, the stock market has definitely bounced back. It keeps hitting new highs. We have record unemployment. We have the lowest inflation rate of the G7. We have a pretty good economy, all things considered, especially when you consider that the entire world sucks at the moment. We suck a bit less than everybody else. And then conversely, if you throw out for a moment that if Trump gets elected, we don't have a republic anymore. We will just be under an authoritarian dictatorship and a Christian theocracy at the same time, and an oligarchy at the same time. It's just like everything that can be wrong with the country would be wrong with the country. But then just to make it that little bit worse, Trump and his cronies have decided they're going to go with the Reaganomics trickle-down thing because Trump wants to close the IRS, and rather than tax people, he wants to charge tariffs that he, for whatever reason, believes China would pay for, or the exporter would pay the tariffs. That's not how that works. The person, the American citizens are the ones that pay that increased cost, and it would work out to something like 122% markup. So the most inflationary economy there can be, it would be just nightmarish across the board. So it's hard for me to understand how did we come to a choice like this? Oh, here's a guy
between fascism and democracy.
Yeah, here's a guy who's old and stutters and flubbed up in a debate pretty badly, as opposed to a guy who said that during the American Revolutionary War, the rebels secured the airports.
Yeah,
I mean, the guy who thinks that the world is flat, who thinks that the sound of windmills causes cancer, and who thinks that you can cure COVID by injecting bleach. I don't see there's a comparison. But look how much more Biden's brain would have to melt before he gets to be as stupid as Trump always was.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think it's a ridiculous choice that we're presented with here. And the fact that it seems to literally be a choice between some kind of fascist theocracy and just democracy as we've experienced it for 248 years. I mean, I think that's mind-blowing in itself. And like the fact that people can't see that that's the decision, that also blows my mind, because I get that there are Republicans out there that don't see Trump as wanting to be a fascist dictator, but I just simply cannot understand why they wouldn't be able to see and recognize that. And so that's why it's hard for me to understand why, it would be wrong to think that a vote for Trump is a vote where that you're voting for fascism.
Can you pick up a caller and see if we have sound?
Okay,
Oh,
well,
we've
I
still got
have
Mario.
Mario on here. Let me return Mario to the queue because we haven't heard a peep out of him. And I'm going to try to pick up Josh, who's the next one in line, if the call-in studio will take the call. Here we go, Josh. Are you able to hear us, Josh, in Canada? Morgan?
Mm.
Yep. Is there something muting? Is it automatically muting? Okay, that is muted. Now that is unmuted. I don't understand. I don't know what's going on with this.
Hang on just a
But
minute.
John and I are going to have a really long conversation otherwise.
Yeah, I think Morgan's still working on it.
Okay. So one of the other things that I want people to understand is let's assume that we beat Trump this time, and so we've managed to save the republic. You know, yay, whatever. Does that mean the work's done?
Excuse me, gentlemen. Can you
Yes.
right-click on Call-in Studio and hit refresh?
You want me to hit refresh? Okay. All right, Josh, can you hear me now? I'm still not able to hear Josh. Okay. I don't know. I'm going to try this again. Maybe I will return Josh to the queue and then refresh with no calls in. And I will again try to talk to Mario. Mario, are you on us? Can you hear us? Nope, no host connection. Whoop, now it's back. Nope, now it's gone. Isn't this great?
I think I've plagued. I feel like I've plagued the call in the line tonight.
Yeah, it's actually telling me to reset PIN. How weird is that?
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I don't know. I think we're just going to, you and I are just going to talk for a minute because I'm getting error messages now telling me that the call-in studio is no host connection. Please connect to the host. Till I hear from a Morgan telling me to do something on my end, I'm going to assume that it's his. So, as I was saying, let's say that we beat Trump.
Please reload Call-in Studio.
Reload Call-in Studio. You mean refresh it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Mario, are you there?
Says we've been on the call with him for a minute, and so I'm going to return him to the queue again because if for whatever reason he was still in the queue when I got out of the call. Okay, one last time, breezing into this thing all over again. Maybe I'll just open a new tab, close that one.
Yeah, I'm really hoping one of the other people that are calling in and getting screened right now is like IT support that's going to help us out.
Okay.
Have you tried turning it off and on? Yes, we have.
Host connection. Please connect the host. This is fabulous. This makes for such a great show. Morgan, are you able to see these error messages or is it just me? No idea, no answer. All right, well, if we got other people trying to call in, that's funny. I have a tech support phone number it's telling me to call. Okay, so to get back to this thing while Morgan tries to figure that out. Let's assume we beat Trump, we save the Republic for a minute. There's a bunch of shit to fix. Because I'm sick of this the lesser evil thing. I'm sick of having the situation of it's the world on a precipice. We're either all going to die or will just barely make it. And so we have to choose we don't have a choice because of the two-party system, the way that it's set up. And the only way out of that, I think, well, there's a handful of, but they all rely on putting it off of a complete dichotomy. So I want ranked voting, and I can't get any of the local politicians to even discuss ranked voting with me, which is a surprise to me, because that's how they got rid of Sarah Palin. If we had ranked voting, Bernie Sanders could have run as an independent and had a fair shot, and it wouldn't have spoiled the election. People that voted for Sanders would be able to put down Hillary as their second choice. Then if he doesn't make it, their votes automatically shift over to Hillary. And it doesn't do, where you've divided the let's say the left. It's not an appropriate thing to say that the left versus right in this case, but since Hillary's on the right. But let's just say, that the Democrat over the left side, or however you want to divide it, choosing between Sanders and Hillary would not divide the left vote and then give the right-wing vote to Trump, all right, which is what the current system always does.
If you could reload CIS.
Okay, reloading yet again. And Mario, are you able to hear me? Sounds like no. All right, I'm going to open a new screen and drop that one. Is there a way to log out and log in again?
Yeah, I mean, you could maybe you could close the tab and then open it up again. I don't know if that would actually log you out.
Yeah, every time I close it and I reopen it, even to a new tab, it's still. Oh, here we go. Now I can log in all over again. Let me try that. Okay, I can log out. Oh, you've been logged out. I don't think I wanted to do that, actually. Yeah, drat. Are you able to log into Call-In Studio, John?
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Let me try returning Mario to the.
I'm going to try to host this show one more time, and then and then Mario is automatically on the call. Mario, can you hear us? Yep. I'm not able to do anything with it on this end. I'm going to back this out and let you log in.
Okay.
If I can figure out which screen to get on to log out again. Nope. Okay, I think I'm out for the moment. You try to log in.
Yeah, I'm logged in. I can see it right now. Okay. But
see if you can pull up the call.
All right, Mario, can you hear us? Does not seem like Mario can hear us right now.
All right. Well, this is the Aron Ra and Godless Engineer show.
Yay!
It's just gonna be you and me talking for an hour or so.
At least for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, as far as like going forward, let's say we beat Trump and everything, how do we fix like politics in America? I mean, I feel like until the conservatives, stop being children about like politics, I feel like there's not much that many other people can do. I do like the idea of ranked voting. Like, that's a good idea. I like the idea of getting rid of the electoral college. I like the idea, I like a lot of ideas, especially like getting money out of politics. Like, I think that's a pretty big thing. Although here in Alabama, they just, made a law where it's okay to effectively bribe, political elected officials. And so that's a bit.
The Supreme Court just suddenly decides, oh yeah, it's perfectly fine to take bribes. Why do you think that Alito and Thomas would vote that it's okay to take bribes?
I don't know. could
Do
be
we
any
not have
number
the
of
most
reasons.
corrupt- Do we not have the most corrupt government on the planet at the moment?
It kind of feels that way, like especially with like the president getting basically complete immunity from like anything that he would do as long as he can call it an official act,
And I remember
which is
when
crazy.
I was a kid, and that there was the Cold War. There was the Soviet Union. I was always told about how great America is because we don't do anything like what Soviet Russia was doing. And one of those things that made us great was that we could travel wherever we want, and we don't have to show our peppers. We can cross state borders, and we don't have to, we don't have to have our IDs on us. We're not being policed that way. And then the conservatives want exactly that. They want to be able to profile people and pull up your papers. What's that? Okay.
Okay.
And I'm going to return Mario to the queue, which I thought I'd done twice already, but this system is acting jacked up. So yeah, so suddenly here in Texas, they tried to pass this thing where they can just profile you, even if you're on a college campus. If you're walking from your dorm room to your class, you better have your papers showing why you are in. Well, I don't know.
Hey, Aron.
Hey, are we back or no?
We're not back up on YouTube just yet. But
We should be live.
oh, okay. We're live now. Cool.
Well, I still don't have call-in studio working. Which was like
Okay.
the whole thing.
Call-in studio is up again.
Okay.
Yep.
We're going to make one last attempt. I'm going to try to talk to Mario in Texas. Are you there? I am disappointed. So I've heard a number of different things that can be done to make the situation better, and I'm very hopeful that we can. There's a number of things that I have to bitch about with Biden specifically, and with the system at large, and all of this. And I see myself, assuming that we win this election, I see myself as being an actually much louder activist than I have been. But instead of more public information, I'd be more focused on legislators themselves, complaining directly to them.
Yeah, I've tried that, but here in Alabama, like the people that represent me, they do not want to listen to any kind of dissenting voice. They only want to hear people agree with what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm in much the same thing. What I try to do when I talk to you can't talk to your Texas, representatives, your senators or whatever. I tried to get an audience with somebody that represents Texas here that I like. And I'm like, okay, well, you live 10 blocks outside of her district, so you can't talk to her. Well, damn it. Okay, well, I'm seeing that people are apparently seeing us. Somebody said they can see Mario. I don't know how. I'm going to return Mario.
Mario's in the chat.
Okay.
He's in the live chat on the stream, I guess, communicating there.
Well, is Mario saying that he can hear us? No one is seeing Mario. Okay, and well, unless they're in the chat, and I'm going to return Mario to the queue until Morgan tells me to, reboot again. Yeah, I don't feel terribly bad about it because I told all these creationists that I was going to be on, and hey, you think you can destroy me? Let's do it. And then, of course, they never show.
Yeah, it's interesting how that always works out, right? Like they talk a big game, but then when it's like, okay, well, here you can call me here, we can have like a as face to face conversation as we could hope to get, and then it's just nothing. Like they don't actually want to verbally defend themselves. They only want to do it in text. It seems.
Yeah, another one that I like is I said we can do a hangout about this, so I don't have to type all these messages. Let's just have a conversation like real people. And the guy was asking about ways. How do I conceal my identity? What kind of voice changer can I use? Like, why? Why are you online at all? if you know, fucking like have this is your voice. Be there. And this was somebody that was proposing that they were going to be doing, I don't know, scientific experiments or whatever to prove or disprove abiogenesis. I'm like, okay, well, let's talk about your hypotheses. And he says, no, he wants to do that after the experiment is done. I'm like, no, we should talk about your hypotheses, how you're going to test them, how you're going to perform this, what things you're taking into account, what your predictions are. So all the things that you should do before you do an experiment. And then that's when they want to know how they do a voice changing program. Like, oh, fuck. And then when I can get one of these people on, when I can get one of these people on, that they're on their cell phone walking through the park.
Yeah.
And the phone's not even, I mean, the phone may be pointed where you can see their head or up their nose or whatever, but they're walking through the park. They're not even looking at the phone because they're walking around in the park.
Right.
This was a conversation I had recently where the guy is yelling at me. He's interrupting everything to yell all these absurd stupidities at me in a public park so that people are keeping their distance away from him.
Yeah.
It's just funny. I put way too much stock into people. I keep expecting that they're going to have some minimal basis of credibility. Like when you say something is true, expect to be called out on that so that you can show, oh, how do I know that? Here's how I know that. Here's the data that shows that I checked this before I said it. Never happens.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that so many people can proclaim that like I'm wrong about something or that I got destroyed in a certain debate or something like that. But then, whenever you ask them specifics or ask them to actually back up, their stuff, they simply can't, at least not in a good way. I'm kind of curious, Aron, out of all your time, in the conversation, what's the dumbest argument for like either God or creationism that you've heard?
Well, one that I had recently was telling me that he can disprove evolution because it takes 9 months for a sperm and an egg to make a human being. And I can't show a second alternate other opposite plan called evolution that makes a single human being in millions of years without using a sperm and an egg. And
I
there's
don't
no way
even
to
know how to process that.
And I'm trying to explain to him that his argument comes down to the chicken and the egg thing, which was answered a long time ago. But he won't, when he gets the idea that maybe I might have a clue what I'm talking about, he has to interrupt to change the subject to then start yelling shit at me, because these people are so determined to make believe what they want to make believe because they don't understand fuck all ever about anything. So they think that the only thing that makes them cool or even I don't know, passable is when they can pretend as if they're the ones questioning the powers that be, yet the people who know shit and you don't.
Mm-hmm.
I will attempt this time. I have a theist. Let me see here. Crossing fingers because that works. Kevin in Virginia, please answer. Can you hear me?
God. We really want to talk to you, Kevin, but technology is preventing us.
So
maybe God is preventing us.
We have a theist on the line who wants to make his case for God. Please.
Hey, Aron, let me ask you this while we wait to see if we can get connected here with Kevin. What's the worst argument for God that you've heard or that you've been presented with? Because the earlier question was about creationism, but I'm wondering about God specifically.
Okay, I think honestly that it was the last formal debate that I had on this. I was going up against a Muslim. The Muslim metaphysician is what he was calling himself. And his argument was a form of the, it was a form of the Kalam cosmological argument. The problem with the Kalam cosmological argument is it's got two premises, neither of which are necessarily true. So the syllogism already fails. And then the conclusion is a complete non sequitur. It doesn't even relate to the premises. So what he did in his modified version was that he made a longer version that had a whole bunch of premises that ultimately the non sequitur at the end depended on misdefining two words. So that he had to use, and he's pretending that he's using a philosophical argument while arguing that I don't know the philosophy. And if I'd known the philosophy a little better, to be fair, I would have been able to show.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Mario?
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
We hear you. Can you hear us? Mario.
Now we're having the exact opposite problem.
Yeah,
I don't think
Hello?
Mario can hear us.
Okay.
I can't hear you.
You cannot hear us? Well, we're halfway there.
I can't hear you. Hello?
All right.
Right, I can't hear you. I'm just watching you on the computer.
Oh.
Okay.
I wonder if we
Maybe
can do this.
Mario.
Can you hear us on the computer, not on the phone, but on the computer?
I'm behind, I think.
I can make this work while Margan figures out what the backdoor stuff is. Make your case for God, please.
Oh no. So this is Mario. He's an atheist.
Oh.
So yeah, he wants to talk about positive sum logic.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, Mario. But Mario, while we got you here, can you kind of explain what you're wanting to talk about?
Wait, I wasn't. Mario, while we got you here, can you kind of explain what you're want to talk about? So it's well, I always have to say that I have autism just because it's gonna come up. So anyway, so it's the logic of like it's all around us, really. It's the logic of like quantum mechanics, because of electron entanglement.
They had to restart Colin's studio.
Comes in and says he's going to restart the Collins studio right as Mario is talking. Oh, yeah. What a cluster. What's that second word in that word? Anyway.
Ready to connect. Click connect to show now. You are connected as the host. Welcome, host. You are now in the... Ready to connect. Click connect to show now. You are
All right. I don't know if we're on again or not. Mario? Mario.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Mario. Can you hear us?
Hello?
So sorry, Mario.
Hello?
We still don't have we still don't have the
Hello?
connection quite there.
Still got 630 people watching.
I know, right?
Hello? I still can't hear you. And you're on, like, max volume on my phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mario,
I think
we're gonna send you back to the queue. Well, he's gone. All right. Morgan, I'm gonna try to pick up this theist again. Are you okay with that? All right. Kevin, can you hear us? Kevin. No, Kevin. Okay. This is God preventing Kevin from making his case for God. Returning Kevin to the queue. Okay. I'm going to pretend that you were talking, John. What were you saying?
I mean, I was just saying how fucked we are here in the United States. There's a lot of things that could possibly fix things, but people aren't willing to do them. And basically, the future is uncertain.
Yeah, and when you're asking for conservatives to stop acting like children, you're asking for conservatives to stop being conservatives. Think back to your early childhood. Look at the people who were always the most offended at everything, right? And where every solution to a problem is more horrible than the problem, and the problem isn't a problem. The problem is something good. We're supposed to be happy with inequality and so forth. That's what makes America great. When only straight, white, rich, Protestant Christian men have rights. That's when America's great. Another thing about Project 2025, by the way, that it's written in there, they want to, and the people who wrote it have also made public statements to the effect on video, they want to repeal women's right to vote.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously.
And which is amazing to me that, you know, all of these Republicans are proclaiming to love their family, love their wives, and all this other stuff when the very platform seeks to silence them, prevent them from having their voices heard, and basically catapult them back to pre-1920 suffrage. And it amazes me how they can sit there and just be like, I love my wife. I want her to shut the fuck up and get in the kitchen. That's not love. I don't know why people think that that's love, but for some reason they portray it as love. And I just don't understand it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I was on a train in up between Glasgow and what is the capital, Edinburgh. And I was listening to these people making fun of American senators because there's one that's all about family values. He's a strict anti-abortionist. You know, he wants he believes in the sanctity of marriage and everything until his mistress came down pregnant. and the news broke that the woman he was cheating on his wife with, that he's trying to force her to get an abortion. He's for family values. He's for the sanctity of marriage. He's cheating. He's against abortion until it's his mistress. And my wife and I were afraid to speak because we didn't want our American accents to be recognized on this train. Because the Scottish people were having so much fun at American expense because we're such hypocrites.
Yeah. It's crazy how hypocritical the right can be. And I mean, I'm not saying that as if the left isn't also hypocritical at times, but I feel like the portion of the time, if you were to quantify how much time the right is hypocritical versus the left, I feel like it's very heavily leaning to the left.
You know, I get a lot of right wingers who complain often, and there's somebody that's in the, is there somebody
Hi,
in the
this
queue?
is Arden.
Oh, hi, Arden.
Hey, Arden, can you hear us?
So I can hear you in real time because I'm parseced into Amargan's computer. I'm trying to help solve this. But your audio is not coming to my phone. Your audio is coming to my headphones.
Oh.
I'm trying to use this to help run some tests. You guys can keep talking, but I'm going to be here. I'm going to try to pull some levers and see if it helps.
Okay, so I guess
cool.
Arden is not going to make the case for God.
No, sorry.
Damn it.
Okay, so what were we just talking about before Arden jumped in? What was that? Because it was
I guess. Well, yeah. So we were talking about Project 2025, and yeah.
You had mentioned you reminded me of something. If you don't mind, because I remember the thing I wanted to say. People are criticizing me all the time that I don't complain about the left more. Well, that's because this isn't 2016. If you wanted to hear me complain about the Democratic Party, oh fuck, was I all over that mess in 2016, unaware of how much worse it was going to get, right? So if we win this election, I will then switch where I don't have to, if I don't have to worry about the Republicans coming to take me out of the population as being an atheist, wanting to criminalize all the people of my family and friends who are trans, or for who are genderqueer or whatever, or for who I don't know, porn related something. You know, if you downloaded porn, you star in porn, whatever the fuck, right? I mean, there's like all these different people in the public that are going to be ostracized and put in camps, or so they say. That the kind of advertising, the things that they brag they want to do. Right? If I don't have to, maybe we can stop them from doing this, but it's not me sensationalizing. I've got video of them saying this is what they want to do. Let's say we get past that. Now I get to complain. The Republicans are no longer a looming threat over every aspect of my life. Damn Skippy. I'm gonna jump down on everything wrong with the Democrats. It's just the Democrats. Yeah, they're both sides are just as bad. No, they're fucking not. Both sides are bad. I'll give you that. They are both bad.
Mm-hmm.
One's one is stale bread and the other is a shit sandwich. There's a huge difference there. Right,
totally agree with that.
Thank you. Because there's a lot that needs to be fixed. There's a lot of corruption involved that I'm irritated at. I'm sick of having to be put in this situation, election after election, you know? And I know that there's a lot of people that are voting for Trump right now because they're taking the Cthulhu option. Have you seen the bumper stickers that have Cthulhu on them? It says, "Why vote for the lesser evil?"
I haven't seen those, but that's funny.
So since we got a minute, and people want to hear me bitch about the Democrats or if there even is a left to talk about, because there really isn't in this country. That's one of the things that irritates me is how they've created this. They've created a boogeyman where everything that the Trump supporters do suddenly becomes the fault of Antifa. Right? They have like there's so many things where everything is being blamed on. We have this influx of right wing terrorism, right? Like all of the mass shootings and all like that. These kinds of things in the last few years, right? And so many of them, the majority of them now, right, are Christian. They're conservative. They're whatever. They're not Antifa. They're not. Find me the fucking leftist Marxists everywhere. Where are all these Marxists? And on the complaint with me, you're wrong about politics because you're a Marxist. No, I'm fucking not. Yeah, but I would definitely be complaining. I have been complaining about the fact that we don't have enough leftists in our government. Practically everybody is on the authoritarian right. You have any idea how few AOCs and Bernie Sanders and Noam Chomskys we have in the world? It was just them. Pretty much. Like those three names, and maybe a couple of other people who stay quiet. But everybody else, right-wing authoritarians. And that needs to be...
It definitely seems that way. Far as like...
hey, if you guys... So, I don't want to steamroll Amargan in producing, but I'm not sure what the solution is. I've restarted. I've tried pretty much every lever. It seems to have to do with something with an input. Amargan's browser settings got changed somehow. It happens with updates all the time. I don't know if we're going to get to any calls today, so if you guys want to continue this conversation to a certain point, and then we can take some super chats, we might just close down call-in studio so we don't have to pay for the open lines that are not getting used.
We can do that, and I'm happy to do that, but I think John happened across a possible solution here. He said that he lost power when a snake bit the wrong cord. Is everybody in your side of this accounted for?
Okay.
You're not missing any.
I will hang up my phone here.
Saboteurs?
I'm going to have Amargan close down your call-in studio lines, and you guys can talk to your heart's content, and then we'll do super chats or whatever.
All right. Well,
okay.
Kevin, call back next week. Oh, I suppose I could do that at least. Let me make these announcements before we go any further. Tomorrow, and all these times are at 6 p.m. Central Time. That's Texas time because we're the center of everything. Tuesday, 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. Chewed Gum with Alyssa Ljub. And Wednesday at 6 p.m. we have The Hang Up with Matt Dillahunty. I hear he's pretty good. And then Thursday at 2 o'clock, again, Central Time, we have the Transatlantic Call-In Show with Arden Hart and Luxander. Then moving to Sunday at 2 p.m., we have the Sunday Show with Matt Dillahunty. And then later on that Sunday at 7 o'clock, we have After Dark with Jimmy Snow. And I'm surprised I'm spacing on this, Eric SS. Who is Eric SS? Would somebody remind me what
Skeptics
that
and Scoundrels.
Skeptics and Scoundrels. Thank you very much for that. And then on Monday, week from today, we have SkepTalk again with, this time, Gutsick Gibbon. And that ought to be interesting because as I understand it right now, she's in isn't she in Tanzania at the moment?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know when she's supposed to get back, but
after the Biden debate, she says, you know what? I think I'm just going to stay in Tanzania forever. All right.
Seems reasonable.
I think so, yeah. I'm at the point where I don't have anywhere to run. I'm just backing in the corner. I'm going to puff up, hood up, and make myself look big. Try to be threatening. So,
but
do you have any other topics you want to pursue for the moment?
No, but I'm pretty much really just focused on Project 2025 and educating people about how bad it is, which I know that everybody's like, oh yeah, it's definitely bad. But I feel people should really know the full breadth of it, because if Trump were to win, in November, in the past, in the first, term, that Trump had, he accomplished, I think it was 65% of what was laid out in the Project 2017 or whatever it was, that they had at the time. So they accomplished a significant of that. And so if they're going to do that this time, then it's going to be a whole lot more fascistic stuff. They're definitely going to, I know, they definitely want to employ a national ban on abortion, which is something that they've said that they don't want to do, and ironically is something that Trump says that he doesn't want to do. Trump wants it to stay a state issue instead of it becoming a national issue again.
But they want all of the states to declare personhood.
Yeah.
For for a blastocyst. I mean, basically, I mean, so they want to make it worse than a national ban. It would still be national, and it would be imposed that way. And and Trump was saying that he didn't want to do that, but then he comes out on video saying that he wants to do kind of exactly this. Still,
Yeah.
It amazes me how brazen all of this is, and when they think that they're doing the Bond villain thing, like the president of the Heritage Foundation, right? A couple days ago,
Yeah.
we got all the polls are showing that Trump is a slight edge, and he says, we're going to win, and we're going to take over the country, and we're going to destroy, take away all of your rights. We're going to deport all of you brown people. We're going to close down the borders and not let anybody of impure blood into our whites only club. That whole thing. And then somebody on Twitter mouthing off to me about that, exactly that. I said, point out that, Biden had a bipartisan border patrol or a border plan that would have solved the problem, and it had bipartisan support. Everybody was going to vote for it. It was going to work. And then Trump torpedoed it because he doesn't want to fix anything. He needs an ongoing current disaster that he can campaign on. So it's not about fixing the problem. It's about it's got him keeping power. And then the person I'm talking to says, well, it was a shit plan anyway. Well, what makes it a shit plan? Still lets brown people in? Because he wants to close the borders for shithole countries and only let people come in from like Norway.
Yep. It's so ridiculous that they're using that to campaign on, because every single time that I hear conservatives like talk about issues that Trump wants to fix or issues that we have, every single time it's a lie. Every single time they're saying, oh, this is the thing that's wrong. We're the only ones that can fix it. And we're just sitting over here like, no, this thing's not the thing that's wrong. It's like they complain about inflation. Like, inflation's horrible. You can't buy eggs without selling a kidney or something. And then it's like, inflation's actually lower.
Or the complaint that the left is trying to take away your stove.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought it was really funny when Trump started talking about, I think it was during his last presidency, when he was talking about flushing a toilet. He's like, you flush a toilet 15, 20 times. It's like, how are you, like, what, exactly how big of a shit are you taking, Donald?
Well, it's all those classified documents he's trying to force down the tube. All right. Well, there's a lot of politics that I'm going to be talking about soon. I have other things to discuss, of course, the creationist arguments all the time, but I'm completely fed up with the creationist arguments because I'm at the point where there's nobody who sincerely believes that shit anymore. They know what lies they have to tell at what cue. And if you ask them a question, they will not answer the question. It's got to be a deflection. It's got to be bounce it back to you. It's got to be answer the question with a question or with a red herring or whatever. Can't answer the question. Well, can you define for me? Show me that you know what the definition of blank is. Adaptation, macroevolution, evolution in general. Just show me that you know what any of these terms mean. No. They want to be able to make something up. They don't want to fact check anything. So, and they know that if they really thought that their position was justified, if they really thought that their belief was the truth, then they wouldn't be afraid of truth so much. They would answer fucking questions. And if the truth mattered to them, and it turned out that what they thought was the case was not the case, wouldn't they want to know?
You would think, but it seems like they don't.
Yeah. So that's my problem, is all of these people who knowingly, and it's becoming increasingly obviously, knowingly lie about this. So I'm pretty much fed up with the creationists. Show me that you've got some competence. Show me that you've got something to present, some actual factual evidence or logically valid arguments. I've given you guys 25 years, quarter of a century. You've failed every attempt. All you do is lie. That's it. And we prove that you're lying immediately, and then you never concede, you never correct, you just keep repeating the same lie already corrected. I gave you the definition. I showed you what the definition is, and then you go and tell me this. You tell me that adaptation is only an example of microevolution. What kind of stupidity is that? I get tired of the same stupid bullshit forever, right? It never ends. These people don't want to understand a fucking thing, and so I'm realizing that the real problem isn't just these people and their make believe. It's the upper groups. Why are these people being manipulated into these kind of mind games where they just deny reality outright? There's a bigger problem, and I'm going for that.
Mm-hmm.
I like your shirt,
I don't really have much else. Oh yeah, you like my shirt?
Yeah.
I like the muscles I'm getting. I've been doing this high weight, low rep kind of regimen. So, but the problem is yesterday I decided to throw running into it, and so my legs are killing me today.
Yeah, I've got kind of the other plan. It's I do a whole lot of reps, but it's only 12 ounces at a time.
And it keeps going down every time you do a rep. It's less.
Exactly. All right. I think we're ready to do the super chats. Are we? You think?
Yeah, I'm good to do super chats.
Okay. All right. Powers that be. Super chat me.
There we go.
All right. We'll take turns reading it. You take this first one.
Okay, $5 from Monkey at Typewriter. GE, not much we can do until conservatives stop being children. Well, folks, we're doomed. Good game, USA. Any Canadians got a spare room? I mean, I appreciate the sentiment. So
$5 from Mario Marufo. See, this is what I'm talking about. Positive sum logic. We're having technical difficulties, but everybody's still having fun if they want. Thank you. Do the best that we can.
Mario, again, Richard Carrier is right about Jesus, but wrong about China. I'm not exactly sure what that's about. I don't know what the wrong about China is, but I agree that Jesus is most likely a mythological character that was created by early Jewish Christians. So, I mean, I agree about that, but not sure about the China deal.
I'll tell you this: I was having a conversation with Jesus historicists who had previously like criticized me for being a mythicist, although I'm not exactly a mythicist. But they said the nice thing was they closed out the conversation by saying that whether Jesus existed as a historical character or not is actually irrelevant. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it kind of depends on what the context is that you're talking about. Because, like, if we're talking about Christian origins, then I feel like it's a pretty big important part of it. Like, how did Christianity start? Like, if you're asking that question, I think that it's important. But I mean, if you're talking about the historical reliability of the New Testament, or any other like historical claims made by Christians in the Holy Book, I feel like, yeah, you could definitely start off from a position that, oh, sure, itinerant rabbi existing, sure, that's no big deal. And I think that that's, if you're looking to quote unquote refute Christianity or argue against Christian claims outside of Christian origins, then, not bringing up mythicism or not bringing up Christian origins is probably the better bet. So I agree, but depending on the context, I think that it's important.
All right. And then $10 from Pibblepunk, half dog, half canine, which is like finding a town halfway between Los Angeles and California. And he said, left-wing conspiracy theories are still conspiracy theories, and I wish everybody would quit pretending to know crap they don't friggin' know. Right?
Yeah, I can agree with that. $10 from the Space Barbarian. What would you think of a Church of Reality, aka Saganic Temple?
Well, I'm thinking I'm wearing the wrong T-shirt. I'm wearing the T-shirt from the Church of Bob. I do have a T-shirt. Yeah, I know the founder of this church is a friend of mine. I know, or I have a T-shirt that says "Hail Sagan," and I would be all about that one too. I already have an ordination from the Church of Bob and from which is the Church of the Subgenius. And if you haven't seen their stuff, go look up Arise, which is the indoctrination video for the Church of the Subgenius. Hilariously funny shit. They're from the 80s. It's a like made up church from the 80s. I have an ordination from the I'm a Dudist priest from the Church of the Latter Day Dude. And of course, this is based on the Big Lebowski. This is an actual religion based on the Big Lebowski. Yeah. I have an ordination from Universal Life Church, and I think the one I'm missing is I don't have one for the Pastafarians, the Flying Spaghetti Monster. But I belong to a whole bunch of different religions like this.
Yeah, and I think that there's I forget what it's called. There is a set of like sort of atheist or secular congregations that were popular like a few years ago. I can't remember what they're called. They were going around. They were started out in England, and then some of them moved over here to the United States. I went to a conference they had over in Atlanta. But in any case, no, I mean, I don't like the whole like church feeling or church vibe, but I know that there's some people that leave religion and they really miss that. So I think that if you're really missing that, then, there's definitely something out there that can cater to that need. I personally wouldn't be a part of it, but more power to you if that's what you need.
Yeah, I joined the Satanic Temple for political reasons. I did attend one black mass, and that was a bucket of chuckles, especially the way the ambiance was so right. It was a church. It was an actual church that had been converted into a satanic church. And just the whole mood of being in there, that the type of ritual that was going on, that was kind of amazing. So very much appreciated. Had to sign waivers before you could attend a mass.
Ooh, that would be a red flag for me. Like, oh, you want to attend? Please sign this waiver just in case you lose a limb.
You know what you're getting into, what you're going to be involved with. Okay. And of course, I'm not going to spoil it by saying what any of that was, because you got to, $5 from Mario Marufo. Personhood begins when your mom decides not to abort you. Anti-choice laws mean some moms never decided not to abort their children. Imagine that.
Well, so typically I assign personhood to the point when a fetus can survive on its own outside of the womb, just meaning that like it doesn't require life support from the mother. Not that, somebody doesn't need to take care of the baby outside of the womb, because that's just how Homo sapiens like are with our offspring. They need to be taken care of. It's not like a giraffe or something immediately, born, they can immediately walk and stuff. Obviously babies need help, but I mean, I think as far as considering the fetus a baby, I think that it would need to be able to like survive outside of the womb on its own accord, like breathing and all that kind of stuff. That's typically what I think of it. Although I'm not an expert, I'm not a medical expert or anything like this. This is a redneck from Alabama's opinion about when life, or not life, but when personhood should be attributed to. And but I still think that abortion access should be available the full term of a pregnancy, because there's obviously very much needed reasons for having a later term abortion. And according to the latest statistics, done, because we do have like a group that focuses on like abortion and healthcare statistics. Later term abortions are most likely going to be medically necessary, and if they're not medically necessary, they only occur because abortion access in those areas has been reduced to the point where women can't attain those services until later in the pregnancy. And so if we provide access to abortion services and other health services like abortion, I think that you would see later term abortions only ever be medically necessary. If we remove the stigma, that would definitely happen. And so I think that the solution is wider access to abortion care or health care like abortion rather than limiting it. That's not the way to reduce later term abortions.
I would also throw in that in the cases of, where it is a medically necessary thing, which late term is generally going to be, is when we've discovered something like that the fetus did not develop a brain, for example, and so it will die within minutes of birth. So do you really need to go that third trimester, the entire third trimester, and go through all of the body distortion, to produce something, to go through then the pains of labor and all of that for something that cannot live? But then the further complication is that when the doctor realizes, well, we've got this situation and this is bad and we need to act quickly, well, now we can't, because we need the medical opinion of a magistrate with no medical training. So why do we need to involve somebody who can't make a fucking decision on this anyway? The fewer gears necessary in this motion is the better way to operate. Anyway, Next chat.
$5 from Monkey at Typewriter says, I support a woman's right to choose through the 72nd trimester. There are people when they can pay taxes. Thanks, guys. It sure was a show.
Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment at the end. I'm not sure it was a show. Yeah, all right, next chat. $20 from Eric Mishima. Can you explain the point of Hilbert's Hotel? How to have infinite rooms? How are infinite rooms full? Am I thick? I don't get it. Well, I have to confess, I've heard this explanation. I don't get it. So this is why I don't do cosmology.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, first of all, I mean, it's obviously a thought experiment. So, like, as far as how to have infinite rooms, I mean, you're just, as a thought experiment, you're just specifying, oh, there's an infinite number of rooms. And so that's just allowing you to do the math necessary for Hilbert's Hotel. And then how are infinite rooms full? Again, just for the purpose of the thought experiment, you're saying that the rooms are full. And so that's all that is. And are you thick? No, I feel like those types of thought experiments can oftentimes be confusing, especially for anybody that hasn't got like a minor in math like I have, and have had to work with like infinites on a regular basis, like in calculus and stuff. I'm not trying to say, that Eric here hasn't had to deal with that, but just thinking about it in the form of like calculus, where you're determining limits, as the limit approaches infinity and everything like that. In those cases, we're not saying that it actually does reach infinity, because infinity is more of a concept rather than a real number. And so it's just conceptually, we're saying all the rooms are full. And it's not that there's like an actual number or a physical quantity that we're specifying with infinity. It's just a mere thought experiment. And so it's just kind of like an ad hoc stating, oh, all rooms are full. So if we start from the position that there are infinite rooms and the rooms are all full, infinitely full, this is the implication of that. And so it's more about testing limits, I guess. At least that's how I would interpret it, as testing like limits, like what's the limit of this, or what is the conclusion of, even if we have infinite amount of things, what's the conclusion that we can derive from that? And that kind of gives you a good sense of like comparing like real practical implementations of things versus, these thought experiments. Or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. I could be totally wrong about that.
Yeah. Are you reading this one?
Yes. $5 from Fuji25. If God is Jesus and we all are in the image of God, and if God allowed man to kill Jesus, what level of suicide would that be considered? That's called level 3, and it's because of the Trinity.
Okay. $5 from Skeptoidius. Creation arguments in a nutshell. Nope, wrong, nuh-uh, false. You can't know that. The Bible says, but God.
Yeah, I saw a tweet today from the Creation Museum that says that the Bible is the best book to use for history of the natural world, or something like that, and they were getting absolutely creamed in their comments. But I mean, it does seem like all of the creationist arguments just boil down to ad hoc bullshit.
And never admit when you're always wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, $20 from Supercilious Pseudonym. That's just fun to say. Please, please, please spend some time talking about Project 2025, or the best place to learn about it. Everybody I talk to thinks it's outrageous and funny and not at all a serious problem, or that Trump is not supporting it. Well, yeah, Trump said that he didn't know anything about it, but he disagreed with large parts of it. But he'd already passed 65% of it during his previous term. So there's that. And I think it's 130 of the authors that are involved are his former cabinet members and his campaign staff, and definitely people he knows. So and these people are bragging that they're writing the plan, and Trump had previously been at the Heritage Foundation and other places where he's admitting that the Heritage Foundation writes the plan that they're going to follow. And then when it was found out that it was so very unpopular and such a bad thing, well, then he started to pretend as if he didn't know about it, which is another obvious lie. You don't know who's behind it? You were on stage with the guy a week or two ago praising him for writing your plan. It's like when Trump said, well, there's so many things where he says that I never knew that woman, or I never did that thing, but he forgot that he already bragged about having done that thing on a radio show earlier. So he contradicts himself so much he can't even keep up where his lies are.
Yeah. And also, oh, go ahead.
No, you please.
I was just going to say, Trump did come out here recently and say that Tim Human or something. Sorry, I don't know his last name, but said that he was going to play a major part in Trump's, I guess, White House, maybe staff or something like that, or maybe an advisor or something, but that he's going to play a big part in it. And he's one of the major authors of Project 2025. So regardless of how Trump plays dumb about Project 2025, he is definitely going to be using people that wrote Project 2025. And like Aron said, a lot of the people that wrote or at least contributed to Project 2025 were part of Donald Trump's like cabinet, or maybe not cabinet, but just part of the administration at the time.
The ones that aren't in prison right now.
Right. Yeah. Apparently 6 of them were directly in his cabinet, the ones that wrote Project 2025.
And then he also has his current campaign staff include writers for Project 2025 too. One of the other things to be aware of is, one, it's a 920-page document, so you're not going to read it. But if you did read it, because I've tried to slog through this thing, and I even knew, I did the first 50 pages or so, and I'm noticing the way that it's written. Most of the information, you have to know what it's implying to understand what it's saying, because It's like you look up the authors of this thing, for the author of this page, for example, and then go look up what the organization that he runs and see what and their primary agenda is to Christianize America. So when they're talking about religious values, you know what he means by that. So it's the language that's actually written in there is vague. You have to understand what the intonation is, and so it's a very hard thing to figure out what exactly they're saying. The easier way to do that is to listen to them speak on video, because they speak plain English when they think that this video is not getting out, when they're up there bragging about what they're going to do. Like when the president of the Heritage Foundation said last week that this is going to be the next American Revolution, where we are going to win, we are going to take over the country, and we are going to turn how did he phrase all of this? But he said it was going to be that this revolution would be bloodless if the leftists allow it to be, which is a complete threat, which means we're going to have a right-wing country, and they will kill us if we resist.
That's definitely what it seems like. Yeah, and I mean they've had years and years of practice doing this. It's the basic conservative or Republican playbook, and that's to basically use soft language to describe their very horrible agenda, and they're hoping that it'll scoot past people and not be noticed that, they're saying things like, oh, we want to take away women's rights to vote, or, we want to reclassify veterans so that less veterans get covered in their health insurance provided by the VA. So, I mean, that's another thing. Like they're always on about how much they support veterans and everything like that. But they actually, what they want to do is they want to reclassify veterans and their health insurance and everything like that, so that they can save money. They're going to take money away from veterans to fuel other portions of their agenda. So, I mean, that's just simply what they want to do.
Some of the things they want to take away, like the Department of Education, you think that that's just so that they can have Christian schools, and that's part of it. But it's because of a lot of the other things that are connected to it. So you have to start looking at the reasons that they give for why they want to do this. And in some instances, they don't give the reason within Project 2025 itself. You have to go to, I had to go to the Heritage Foundation specifically with Google the question why they want to remove this. Like, why was it that they wanted to remove the Department of I can't remember what it was. But I was confused by reading the document what they meant by that. So I go to the Heritage Foundation with that question: why are you trying to get rid of some other department? I'm sorry that I'm having a senior moment, can't remember the name. But it's the Heritage Department then describes exactly why they're getting rid of it. It's other things that are attached to it, like with the Department of Education. It's because there's protections in there for women and genderqueer people and all of that. So they want to remove all protections for minorities, and they're including women in this. So, and all non-Christian people. And you are going to be criminalized. Trans people, and to some degree, gay people, will be considered criminals under this new government. They just don't come out and say it with that sort of a bumper sticker kind of slogan. You have to really intelligently, slowly, and competently read this thing to realize what it's saying and compare notes with outside sources, with their own outside sources. All right.
Yeah.
Who's reading the next one?
I think I am. Okay, $10 from Nikki D, who says, let's just have OMM from TH 1138, politics, religion, and necessary prescriptions.
I never saw that movie. I'm sorry. Or read that book. I don't remember if it ever made it into a movie. $10 from Static Vortex. Yeah. Aron, what is your opinion on the Jeep Wave? Personally, as a biker, I feel that it is a usurpation of the bike wave. I mean, most Jeep brand products have air conditioning atop and doors. While that is true, I live in Texas, and a lot of the Jeep owners here have the doors and roof off a lot of the time. My Jeep spends half the year like that, and I will wave at other Jeeps. But usually I think what we do is we show off our ducks. I have 5 on my dashboard at the moment. All right. Well, I'm surprised we managed to go an hour and a half with such a complete fuck up, and I don't think it was all that bad a show, actually.
No, and I'm sure that they'll have everything worked out on the end for tomorrow's show, which is the chewed gum. I believe it's 6 p.m. is tomorrow's show. So hopefully all of this can get worked out by then. And yeah, I had a great conversation with you tonight, Aron, talking, I guess, primarily about Project 2025 and the crazy shit going on in U.S. politics. So I thought it was great.
Thank you much. All right, I guess we're done. You gotta. Yep.